The tenets of democracy are skills for living in our society that include tolerance, critical thinking and decision making, thinking together and making meaning, power sharing and empowerment, and individual responsibility and civil involvement with others. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The students are creating an informational booklet on building and flying kites. Each student will be assigned a topic to research and will have to use various print and electronic resources to locate information. The teacher implements empowerment and individual responsibility by asking the students to write down what they already know about kites. This allows the students to take ownership of the activity by displaying their knowledge. Each student is responsible for his or her own work.
I want you to give me the facts, okay? That's a very general. I want you to tell me as many details as you can.
The teacher promotes critical thinking as she engages a student in a discussion about kite flying and weather. She has the student describe and compare the best and worst weather for kite flying.
Can you tell me something else about the weather? Maybe what kind of weather would be the worst to fly a kite in, or...
The teacher emphasizes critical thinking and decision making by asking the students how they would decide if weather conditions were good or bad for flying a kite. The students describe their thinking to their classmates and ask themselves what the result would be, for instance, if they flew a kite in bad weather.
If there's no dark clouds and not windy so much, not very strong wind.
Okay. So I have to look to see if the sky is clear.
Yeah. If there's no strong wind.
The students demonstrate critical thinking as they discuss different kinds of kites. The students are asked to compare different kinds of kites and infer how a different design would affect how much wind is needed to fly a kite.
Do you know if maybe the kind of kite would affect how much wind you need?
Yes. Because the delta kites doesn't need that wind like the other ones.
Okay. Delta kite is a kind of kite that doesn't need a lot of wind?
The teacher asks each student to take responsibility for one of the topics they have discussed and to focus on getting information about it. The teacher thus provides opportunities for power sharing and empowerment and promotes individual responsibility as well. The students share authority in the activity with each other and with the teacher. Each student is accountable for a portion of the research the class has to do for their booklet on kites.
I want each of you to take responsibility for one of these want to learn topics. And just focus on getting that information.
The teacher allows the students to express themselves by letting the students choose the topics they want to research. She implements empowerment as she asks one of the students about his favorite topic, how much wind you need to fly a kite. The teacher also implements individual responsibility. Each student has to take ownership of their own research.
Francisco, would you like to choose one of those to...
How much wind does it need?
Okay, how much wind? Okay, is too much? How much wind do you need? Okay, so you're going to search for that answer first.
The teacher further promotes empowerment by giving her students the power to express themselves. Each student can choose his or her own favorite topic to research. One student, for example, chooses to research the history of kites.
Does anybody else have a favorite that they would like to, a topic that they would like to research? Ruth?
Who flew the first kite?
Okay, so you want to do history and who flew the first ones? Dina?
I want to know how many kind of kites are there.
Okay.
The teacher is helping the student in his research on wind and wind conditions. She provides him with some books, which might help him in his research. The teacher implements both empowerment and individual responsibility. She empowers her student by giving him the tools he needs to do his research. Although she provides the student with sources, the teacher still makes the student accountable for his own work.
This one looks like it might have... This one has a good index. Wind conditions.
As they do their research, the students demonstrate critical thinking. They have to select their resources, compare them, and identify information they can use. The teacher guides the student by giving him instructions on how to list the resources he uses. She emphasizes empowerment and individual responsibility by engaging him in the activity and making him feel responsible for his own work.
what I want you to do, since this is something we're going to discuss that you have a question about because you have 2 different dates, write down next to each fact where you found it so that we can go back to the sources.
Which book?
Yeah, you can just write down this title here, Catch the Wind, and the author,
Okay.
and then write down the title. Yeah.
The teacher further demonstrates empowerment by allowing the students' voices to be heard. The students are creating an informational booklet on building and flying kites. Each student is assigned a topic to research and has to use various print and electronic resources to locate the information. She asked them, in turn, about the kinds of kites they've found.
What information have you found? Well, how many kinds of kites are there?
12.
12 different kinds? That's what you found? Okay. Dina, did you find that same information?
No.
What did you find?